Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The Rams kicking situation still getting nailed down, plus a new number 1 seed, but will it hold? And later, Rams looking to rebound. We preview Rams at Cardinals. Let's rock.
We here, man. We gotta take advantage of victory on one. Let's go.
Welcome to Rams Showcase. And now, your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome to it, Rams Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Bags. Shout out Rams House helping me out on the intro there. Rams House was not up on the random rotation this time around, but celebrating a bit of a birthday. So shout out Rams House. Happy birthday, dude. Hopefully the Rams pull that big old Rams dub for you to help celebrate. That's my favorite way to celebrate. Although my birthday's in July, so I don't really get Rams games near my birthday in any capacity. At Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That's where you follow along on the internet. Of course, also the Tuna and the Sheriff Show. That is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. LA time. That's broadcast on the Ram Showcase Facebook page, as well as the First of Tuna podcast YouTube channel. We did have some scheduling issues for Wednesday this week, so actually our show, our Wednesday version of this week's show will be tomorrow on Thursday morning. So you've probably already seen this by the time that's happened, so that is out and available. Go check that out. And then back on Friday, we'll be doing our full game preview. So, of course, check us out there as Cardinals and Rams. First matchup of the season between these two teams. We'll be getting into our full game preview right there. So check it on out. Also, as far as Rams House goes, Payo time as well. They both do a show called First Down Rams. That's broadcast live on both of their YouTube channels on Wednesday night. So be sure to check that out as well. Awesome show. They do great segments over there. Me and Tuna just kind of chat. They actually have segments and stuff, dude. They're a whole operation going on over there, which is rather cool stuff. Let's get into the news here, as there's not really much to talk about news-wise. We get into this time of year, and there's typically not that much news to go into. But we do have some interesting tidbits here, and mainly it's all about the kicking situation again, as the Rams did waive kicker Josh Carty last week, and it, all systems seemed like it was Mevis time, Carty time, Mevis time. Trying to think of better nicknames, because I'm not a big fan of the thicker kicker. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but either way, Josh Carty was waived last week. He did clear waivers and was brought back onto the practice squad. Stu Jackson of TheRams.com did mention that this was always the plan, that if he did clear waivers, that Sean McVay was interested in bringing him back on the practice squad. It looks like Josh Carty is still being worked on as far as the Rams system goes, and trying to get him to kind of level out, I guess. I'm just not sure what the plan is at the kicking spot. I'm not sure if the Rams are wanting to roll with Mevis or if Josh Carty is the goal to start working on Carty. I'm just not sure what that plan is. But Carty is back on the practice squad. He is not on the active roster, so expect Mevis until further notice, I kind of guess is how we'll be handling this. And then just some former Rams moving around the league. Former Rams running back Royce Freeman does sign to the Chargers practice squad, so he's back in town, but on the opposing side there. And then former Rams wide receiver Austin Trammell, he was waived by the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he is out and around. And then also former Rams kicker Lucas Havrasik, down with the Havrasickness. He is signed to the Packers practice squad. He was waived by the Packers, so he is back around there. I think they have got, was it McManus as their main guy? But, hey, it seems like there's a few teams trying to keep around some kickers. Not sure what's going on with these boots around the NFL, but doesn't seem to be super steady right now. Look at you, Young Wei Koo. The heck was that, man? What are you doing out here, dude? Either way, let's get into the playoff picture here, as there was a bit of a shakeup here. So the Rams did lose, fall to the 2nd seed, and the Chicago Bears heading into Week 14 as the NFC's number 1 seed. That is not something that I've ever said in my lifetime, which is crazy. This week they'll be at the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, massive game for the Packers. You can see them sliding in right now on the 6th seed. They would be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles right now. But the Rams, if the season were to end today, they would be hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And of course, the Rams at Arizona this week, so a big division win or chance for a win here. Philadelphia has held the number 1 seed at different times. They were 8-4. They'll be playing against the Chargers on Monday Night Football at SoFi Stadium, and then the Bucs sitting in there at the 4 seed right now, 7-5. They'll be hosting New Orleans. If the Bucks lost, then the Panthers would actually be sitting in that four slot right now. And Seattle, Green Bay, San Fran, those are your current wild card teams. Seattle is in Atlanta. Green Bay is hosting Chicago, and then San Francisco actually taking on their bye. This is a very late bye for the San Francisco 49ers, but then they'll host Tennessee. They're in Indy, home versus the Bears, and then home versus the Seattle Seahawks. So not exactly a cakewalk of a stretch or anything, but the 49ers can certainly be, in a position to lock in a wild card spot at some point here. Detroit, Dallas, and Carolina all currently sitting on the outside. I'll mention as well, Detroit, their chances of making the playoffs are starting to dwindle. So we actually may not see Jared Goff and the Lions in the postseason this year. We'll see what happens. Some playoff notes for the Rams, though. Rams do still have a chance to make the wild card even if they don't win another game, which is rather exciting. I think that I wanted to mention that because there's a very sky is falling kind of vibe right now amongst the Rams fan base. I'm not part of that. I feel like all the people that I know that do shows aren't really in that thought process right now, but I know a lot of just viewers of these shows are certainly in that thought process. I'll be honest, I'm very surprised at the reaction from that last game, but either way, the Rams can still make technically the wild card, even if they were not to win another game. There are no elimination scenarios, possibly all season. It's very likely that the Rams will not have any elimination scenarios. We'll kind of see how it plays out. Currently, just a 3% chance to miss the playoffs with the Rams. Lowest odds to miss the playoffs in the entire NFC amongst teams that have not been already mathematically eliminated. Currently, best odds to still get the number 1 overall seed, even though the Rams are sitting in 2 right now, and that's a 40% chance to get the top seed with a win this weekend. It jumps up to that. We're in the 30s right now. With the loss, the Rams slide into the Rams. The odds the Rams slide into the fifth seed are pretty large. They would play the 4 seed, which would likely be Tampa, but maybe Carolina, so that's something to kind of watch for. We've obviously defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and lost to the Carolina Panthers. I'd be okay with taking on either of those teams again in a playoff scenario, but getting to the 4 seed is unlikely just with the way that the records are kind of falling right now. So it feels like the Rams will either be 1, 2, possibly 3. I wouldn't see it necessarily. I think 1 and 2 feels most likely, or 5th. 6 doesn't. I feel like there's a lot of teams that the Rams need to fall under to get 6, obviously, and then 7 even more. So I think that the Rams will get it's 1, 2, or 5 is kind of where I'm feeling the Rams will slip into as far as the postseason goes. But Rams have no clinching or elimination scenarios this week. I don't know if anybody has any clinching scenarios quite yet. I didn't see any. But teams have elimination scenarios for sure. We have what I think it's 3 teams. I want to say it's 3 teams that have been eliminated from the NFC. And the Rams really want the Packers to beat the Bears and the Chargers to beat the Eagles. That's kind of best case scenario with the Rams win, obviously, in Arizona. That is the best case scenario. Rams would slip back into the 1 seed. Bears would be a game below, and the Eagles, who the Rams need to be a game above because the Eagles have the head-to-head, obviously. Another loss for them just helps out big time there. And around the rest of the NFL, the Bears mathematically have worse odds to end the season with the number 1 overall seed than the Rams right now. This is on forget the playoff or the the website name. I was like, I don't need to write it down. I'll remember. I think it's like playoffscenarios.com if I'm not mistaken. But they take into consideration opponent win percentage and stuff like that. So it's not just like straight across or anything. They actually do. There's a lot of math that goes into it. All right. And I'm not a math guy. Just know, though, they did it, and I'm just relaying that info. Okay. I'm not crunching numbers myself. I'm just kind of mimicking what I see. All right. Lions playoff odds are dwindling rather fast. They have a 13% chance at the number 7 seed right now, and only a 74% chance, and a 74% chance to miss the playoffs entirely. So Lions, like I said, definitely having a harder time this year and maybe not playing any games after week 18, let's say. Panthers do have an 18% chance to make the playoffs, 71% chance to miss the postseason. So obviously, I think the Panthers are a much better team than they get credit for. I do think there's plenty of growth to go when you look at a team like the Carolina Panthers, but they're headed in the right direction for sure. And getting wins like they did last week against the Rams, I mean, that's just those are wins that you're going to be able to kind of like pinpoint in a couple of years of like, oh, this is when we knew that they were going to start to get better or something of the sort. I don't think that this is the same situation as like when the Rams lost to the Jets a few years back. When the Jets had like just no business beating the Rams, and it just happened that way. It's not the same situation this time because the Carolina Panthers are fighting for a playoff spot, like we just mentioned, and they're just a better overall team than the Jets were in that situation. So, but only 18% chance to make the playoffs. The Giants, Saints, and Cardinals have all been officially eliminated of the from just the NFC. Falcons, Vikings, and Commanders will likely be eliminated within the next 2 weeks. Their scenarios to clinch the playoffs or try to wiggle their way into the conversation is rather steep. So yeah, Falcons, Vikings, Commanders, I imagine will all be eliminated rather soon. Packers' chance to make the playoffs swings greatly on their game this weekend against the Bears, actually. So if the Packers lose against the Bears, their chances for a playoff spot dwindle pretty hard, but a win over the Chicago Bears helps them immensely. So that's what the Green Bay Packers are, of course, looking at. And like I said, most important games for the Rams this weekend, the games that you're keeping your eyes on. Obviously, Rams and Cardinals, we know that already. Bears at Packers, that's a very big game. And then Eagles at Chargers on Monday Night Football. That is also an absolutely massive game when it comes to the Rams. The rest of them, not so much. It's not do or die kind of situations in any other games. It's not do or die yet in any situation. We're only going into week 14. There is still a few weeks left. But I feel like I was just talking about this in week 2, just, like what feels like yesterday of like the season's going to go by real fast. There's going to be a lot of crazy things that happen. Take advantage of it. Just soak it in, man. Just soak it in. I'm still not even quite yet into playoff mode yet because hey, we still got football games, man. There's still things to lock down. So that's kind of where my brain's at, but I definitely feel like it went by like that, man. It's crazy. We're already like talking, it's December already. We're talking about playoff seeding and stuff like that. Wasn't ready for it, man. It's going by too fast. And then the off season takes 7 years. I don't know what's up with time, but it's ruining my life. I don't know what to tell you. So those are your playoff situation right now. Obviously, the Rams sitting in the 2 seed can certainly get into the 1 seed as early as this weekend. Need some help in that regard. A win and a Packers win is what we're looking for to get the Rams back into the number 1 seed. A Rams loss, a Bears loss, and a Eagles win puts the Bears at the 1 seed. I think that would put the Eagles at 2 and then the Rams at 3. So a lot of different situations. Bears, Eagles. Those are the 2 teams we're watching right now. I don't think that the NFC South, the Bucs or the Panthers, are going to be able to try to compete for those spots. I think it is a 3-way race right now for the number 1 seed between the Rams, Bears, and Eagles. And you can say what you want about the Bears. They're playing really, really good football right now. They're playing limited football. They turn the ball over on defense. They don't turn it over on offense. They're playing good football, man. So I say what you want to about the Chicago Bears, but Ben Johnson's doing an absolutely phenomenal job up there. So yeah, they could absolutely get the 1 seed. And I know nobody wants to go to Soldier Field in January. I can tell you that much, especially with the way that defense has been playing for sure. Speaking of football games, though, in December, that's not what I said, but I'm going to transition that way anyway. We got a full game preview. Cardinals hosting our Los Angeles Rams. That happens week 14 this coming Sunday. We'll get into that full game preview. That'll be right after this break. It is the Ram Showcase. Welcome back in, Ram Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Baggs. The 9-3 Los Angeles Rams heading over to take on the 3-9 Arizona Cardinals. Not a far trip for the Rams, but a road trip nonetheless. This game kicks off at 1:25 p.m. Pacific time from State Farm Stadium on Fox. Fox does have the double header, and the area, I'll be honest, not very big. Rams will be in the blue zones here, and Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Megan O'Leary will be on the call, but not a large area. In fact, that larger area that you're seeing there on your screen, that red, is going to be the Packers and the Bears. So obviously we are keeping our eyes very much glued to that TV screen because it definitely impacts us quite a bit. Those are 2 teams that either of those teams could be seen in the playoffs. So we could be playing either of them for sure. Didn't get the Packers in the regular season, obviously, this year. or the Bears, but who was our? Oh, yeah, it was the Eagles, obviously. We know that. Or that's not even the right division. What am I talking about? It was Detroit. It's in a couple weeks, week 16 in Los Angeles. Or is that next week? It's next week in Los Angeles, week 15. We'll get there. For you bettors out there, Rams are minus 8.5, minus 450 on the money line. 48.5 is your over-under. That means the books have this game sitting roughly 20 to 30, maybe a little bit under that is kind of what they're ballparking, but they do have the Rams winning this game. Let's get into our pants picks here. We have the final game in the white jerseys of the regular season. And, of course, being on the road in Arizona for this one, this is going to be a clean sweep for the Royal Madness out here. Everybody going Royal Pants for our pants picks, the game that is sweeping the nation. I don't know why you don't play it. Your mom does, and she loves it. It's a good time for everybody. It's family friendly. All you got to do is pick some pants. Pants picks? Pretty self-explanatory, I'll be completely honest with you. If you don't get it by now, I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, white jerseys, our final game in the white jerseys this season. So it's just Royal and then that one bone game in Atlanta. And we'll see if we even have any road games in the playoffs. This might be our last time in white until next year. Who knows, dude? Who knows? Take a look at the history of this matchup. This is the 95th all-time meeting between these two. The Rams do lead the all-time series 51-41-2. Rams did win the most recent matchup December 28th, 2024. That was a 13-9 win for the Rams. Last time in Arizona against the Cardinals, the Rams did lose 41-10. That was early season last year in Arizona. One of those games where it's like, what is going on here, dude? Pretty rough stuff, but turned it around. Obviously got that win in Los Angeles late December. First ever game between these two came on October 3rd of 1937. Chicago defeated Cleveland 6-0. That makes sense if you think about it hard enough. Rams have won 3 of the last 4 against the Cardinals and 14 of the last 17, which are the games that Sean McVay has been the Rams head coach. So he is 14-3 against the Cardinals all time. I know that's an uneven number. That does include the playoff game that the Rams played against the Cardinals, the 21 season. So big old game there. Big old football game. So stuff that we're looking for in this one, obviously, for the Rams. This is the first time for the Rams at SoFi Stadium since the playoff game last year against the Minnesota Vikings. So this is, Arizona's home, but it's a little bit our home too, I think. In fairness, we've hosted a playoff game there more recently than they have. So I think that makes it our home. And I was going into this season and basically all offseason of like, I'm not going to make fun of the Cardinals because they let us use their stadium. They had to. I mean, it was the contingency plan. It would have been, if the Houston playoff game needed to relocate, it would have been Arizona also. That's neither here nor there. They weren't like, hey, come here. It's like, it's a whole plan. They have stadiums designed to do this kind of thing in the event. You know what I mean? So, obviously, we've played there pretty recently as a home game, but hey, that's our home. But either way, I said that's where I was going with that. As I said, I wasn't going to make fun of them, the Cardinals, that is. I feel like enough time has passed. Not that I'm like here just to like rip jokes about the Arizona Cardinals or anything like that. They just got eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, I don't need to joke about them. You know what I mean? Their season did that for them. You know what I mean? For me, I didn't need to do it because their play on the field, I think, is all the humor that any of us need. But either way, I think we're back around. We can make fun of them again. I say it's you have my permission. The Rams come in this game is off of what I can comfortably say is their worst performance of the season in Carolina. Divisional road game after that performance is kind of the perfect chance to see if the Panthers maybe figure something out or if the Rams just had one of those days. I tend to think the latter myself. But it's really just, are the Rams done? Are we done? Are we cooked? Are we spent? Or is this just one of those things where we just had a bad day, we'll bounce back, beat the Cardinals by 45 points, I don't know. We'll kind of see. But 2 interceptions for Stafford. It does not take him out of the MVP race in any capacity. A big bounce back, though, would go a long way. Drake May does have the best odds, according to certain sports books, over Matthew Stafford, but they're very, very close. And it does seem like a bit of a 2-man race at this point between Drake May and Matthew Stafford. Rams lost in Arizona to the Cardinals last season, 41-10. We talked about that. If that were if that were going to happen this year, man, I don't know. If we had a repeat performance like that off of the game where we lost to the Carolina Panthers, first of all, this fan base would fully implode, and it would be very odd to do a show to nobody because I don't know if anybody would even be around. It'd be me and Edwin. That's I guess Gary would be around. GP Shadow would still be. There's still plenty of people that would be around for sure. But either way, that would be tough, man. I know a lot of people that would completely, their heads would explode for sure. But the Rams only had one penalty last week for 5 total yards, keeping them first in penalties. That's by a margin of 13 penalties that the Rams have the fewest by. So doing very, very well there. And then also, Rams are tied for 5th most penalties against. And I don't know what to do with that information, that we don't get penalties ourselves, but we cause a lot of other people to get a bunch of them. I don't know how to translate that information into something useful yet, but now you also know it. We don't get penalized. They do a lot. I don't know, man. I don't know. On the other side here, the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray does remain on IR. He does not get his practice window opened per head coach Gannon, but I'm not sure if there is much desire to try to get Kyler Murray back and rolling again. Obviously, like I mentioned, the Cardinals are eliminated from the playoffs, and Jacoby Brissett just kind of doing his thing right now. I'm really just not sure what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. We are in a situation where we could be seeing the last few games where Kyler Murray is even on that roster. I'm not sure what the plan would be post Kyler for the Arizona Cardinals, but mainly also on the kind of the flip side of that is I don't know what Kyler's plan would be. I don't think he's too old to go play baseball, and I think that he was always the better baseball player, but you get these really big contracts in the NFL, which he did hit, so, I mean, his plan did work, but I think that the baseball path is always something that has been still an option, I would say. Not to say that I think he's going to go play baseball, but I just don't think that that's completely off the table for Kyler Murray, especially if no teams are really calling, or if the teams that are calling are requesting or suggesting that he would be a bench player or a backup QB2, QB3 kind of guy. Do I think that that's where his talent level belongs? Yeah, I kind of do, actually. He's super fast and stuff like that and has a good arm, but that's not enough to get you through the NFL. You have to have so much more than that. You have to have that winning mentality, and I just don't think he does. Yeah, and then, of course, eliminated from postseason contention last week. So, milestones, some things that we're keeping our eyes on or have seen recently. For Sean McVay, Sean McVay has now officially coached in the most regular season games of any Rams head coach. He is the longest tenured head coach in Rams history, which is rather exciting. He did have the record over Robinson by 3 games. This was a while back, but that was including postseason. He's coached in 13 postseason games, as Robinson did 10. So it's evened out now as far as regular season, and Sean McVay has now coached in more regular season games than any other Rams coach in history. And also, like I said, he also has the record for most postseason games as a Rams head coach. Longest tenured. Yeah, we've never seen anybody coach this many games. It's awesome. and for him to be the best one, that's pretty cool. This could have been Jeff Fisher, dude. Could have been Jeff Fisher. Matthew Stafford has 3,073 passing yards entering Week 14. That would be 24th most in Rams history if he does not get another yard. He is currently 17th in yards per game in Rams history. 32 touchdown passes would be tied for 4th most in Rams history in a single season. Stafford does need 9 to tie the Rams' single season record. That is with himself as well as Kurt Warner. And Jared Goff, 2018, had 32 touchdown passes. That's how many Stafford has right now. And he did that with 12 interceptions. Stafford right now, of course, with 4, coming off of a game where he had 2. So, in fairness, that ratio did get a bit of a dent, but still looking pretty good. 2001, Kurt Warner is in 3rd place in touchdown passes in a single season with 36. That included 22 interceptions. In 1999, Kurt Warner and 2021, Matthew Stafford threw for 41 touchdowns. That was with 13 and 17 interceptions, respectively. Matthew Stafford's 1% interception percentage is 2nd in Rams history with at least 100 pass attempts. Can you guess number 1? I'll give you a second, man. Think about it. Who do you think has a lower interception percentage with at least 100 passes than Matthew Stafford in Rams history? If you said 2015 Case Keenum, you're correct. 0.8% for Case Keenum in 2015. That's pretty cool stuff. Had about 124 passes, I believe, somewhere around there. And Matthew Stafford did reach eighth most passing yards in NFL history, passing Matt Ryan. He needs 558 yards to pass Phillip Rivers, or to tie Phillip Rivers in seventh, and he is currently 1,206, 1,206 behind Big Ben in sixth, which would mean he would need to average 242 yards per game for the rest of the season. Last week in Carolina, he did have 243, so he is on pace for that right now. Kyren Williams, he is 132 rushing yards short of 1,000 on the season. Right now, he would be 42nd in Rams history for a single season. Puka Nacua hit 1,000 receiving yards last week. Rather exciting stuff. Puka Nacua, he's absolutely insane. 86 receptions would be tied for 18th most in a single season in Rams history. Davante Adams, we are officially on Rams record watch when it comes to Davante Adams, as his 14 touchdown receptions is third most in a single season in Rams history. 2021, Cooper Kupp had 16, and 1951, Elroy Hirsch had 17. Rams play 5 more games, so Davante Adams has 5 more chances to get 3 touchdowns, and he gets at least one a week, it seems. He's got his court-mandated receiving touchdown from the 1-yard line every week, so we should be able to see this record be beaten, which is rather exciting. He's just 2 behind the superhero Cooper Kupp season, which is crazy. Davante Adams, man, touchdown machine. He needs 15 receptions to tie Isaac Bruce for 15th most in NFL history. He needs 188 receiving yards to tie Art Monk for 15th most in NFL history. And he does need 4 receiving touchdowns to tie Larry Fitzgerald for 6th most in NFL history. Fitzgerald played in 5 more seasons than Adams is currently at. So obviously he's absolutely killing it. Davante Adams has 5 years to get 4 receiving touchdowns to tie the window that is Larry Fitzgerald. And of course, last week he did pass Antonio Gates for most receiving touchdowns all time. So he's alone in 7th. He did tie it and then beat it all in one game. And Antonio Gates, I mean, obviously we know his story of the Chargers, the San Diego Chargers. He was absolutely crazy. I did get to see. It's gone now. The record's gone. It actually just got beat a few weeks ago, but it was by Keenan Allen. But it was, I don't even remember the year, man. I went with my dad. He's a Chargers fan. I live in Colorado, so it was Chargers at Broncos Thursday Night Football, where Antonio Gates became the Chargers' all-time leading receiver for yards, which was rather exciting. We got to see it. It was a deep ball. Yeah, it was pretty fun. The Broncos Stadium didn't acknowledge it at all, but we knew what happened. That's all that matters. And there is no former Rams that are currently on the Cardinals. Maybe that's why they've been eliminated already. I don't know, man. I don't know. Take a look at the matchup on this one. We'll start with the Rams offense going against that Cardinals defense. The Rams on offense are a top 8 unit, putting up about 370 a game. Cardinals defense, 20th in the league, about 346 a game. Passing the football, top 4 unit for the Rams, putting up 246.5, while the Cardinals giving up just under 220 a game. That's 21st in the NFL. Rushing the ball, 19th ranked unit for the Rams offense, 113.5, while the Cardinals give up 112.5. That's about 16th. Average points being put up a little under 28 for the Rams. That's 6th in the NFL, while the Cardinals give up a little over 25. That's 24th in the NFL. And on third down, 38.9% for the Rams, and that is 18th in the league, and 15th ranked unit for the Cardinals. They give up 37.8. So pretty in line there as far as the percentage goes. But, I mean, you're looking at a third-year defensive coordinator, Nick Rallis for Arizona. The Cardinals also, the reason I mentioned that was because they did really improve on the defensive side over just the whole, more than second half of the season. 11 games, over the last 11 games of the season last year, they were giving up under 20 a game. So over the course of the year, the defense did, I think, start to play better. And they do have some really good playmakers for their defense, but it just seems like the energy is not there. You know what I mean? It probably has a lot to do with the way that offense operates. But either way, that was 4th in points allowed for the final 11 games last year. And I think that their defense is they're playing fine this year. Nothing super that jumps out to you, like 24th in points being given up, 20th in total yards, 21st against the pass, 16th against the run. Nothing super flashy, but they do a decent job. For the Rams, they're tied for 3rd fewest interceptions thrown on offense The touchdown percentage is currently at 8. That is best in the NFL by quite a margin. Detroit is at 6.8% touchdown percentage. That would mean the Lions would need to throw 6 straight touchdowns without any incompletions to reach that same level with the Rams. The Rams also tied for 7th fewest fumbles on the season. Do with that information what you will. I just feel like everybody's talking about how much we fumble. We are 7th fewest in the league right now. Opposing players we are keeping our eyes on. We're going to start with, of course, Southside linebacker Josh Sweat. That shouldn't come as a surprise to you. This kid is absolutely awesome. He's a very strong pass rusher. He does lead the team in sacks by a margin with 11. He does lead the team in TFLs by a margin as well with 12. And 16 quarterback hits. He can certainly still get it done. You can certainly still get after your quarterback. So definitely somebody to watch out for. Next up, we'll go with cornerback Denzel Burke. 2 picks on the year, 7 passes knocked down. Has 5 starts on the season in a secondary that's dealt with a lot of injuries, but playing good football, man. He's a good player. Defensive lineman Calais Campbell, the old guy, man. He still gets it done. It's crazy to me that Calais Campbell's still playing. I feel like he was like with the Chicago Cardinals at this point, man. I feel like this guy's been around forever. It's going to be weird to see an NFL without Calais Campbell. I don't understand it, but he's a leader, man, and he can still get it done for sure. Best one-on-one I've gotten this one is going to be Josh Sweat versus those Rams tackles. Jackson and McClendon certainly have a tough task of holding back the guy who can certainly damage your game plan. Josh Sweat can impact your offense and make you and throw you off and try to get you out of your original game plan. So big task for those tackles, Jackson and McClendon. AJ and Warren out here, man, getting it done out there for the tackle spot this week. Got to keep Stafford upright, man. I think that there was a decent amount of pressure last week, or at least an impactful amount of pressure last week. Obviously, we had the fumble from Stafford, and then just some decisions that felt a little quicker than he has in the past. So keeping number 9 upright is going to be, of course, critical. And speaking of getting into our 3 to see, we're going to start with quarterback Matthew Stafford. How does Stafford rebound after last week? He had the interception where, sure, it bounces off of the helmet and stuff like that, but it was a really weird, awkwardly looking play. We can say what we want about it being tipped, but I don't think the ball should have been thrown. So I think that, a lot of people say, like, well, does that really count as his interception? Well, yeah, it came out of his hands. So that's how I always feel about it. But either way, the other one was the worst one, of course, the pick 6, where it just it was one of those balls where you're like, dang, dude. Like, it's been a while since we've seen Stafford butcher one like that. And the timing of it, obviously, everything was just not good times for anybody. And to lose a game where you throw a pick 6 and you only lose a game by 3, that's quite annoying. For sure. But how he responds to that last week, I think is going to be absolutely huge. Is he going to come in and just throw, 5 touchdowns to no picks and just look absolutely incredible? Or is he going to have a couple of throws where you're like, dude, what is wrong with Matthew? So we'll see how that happens. But I trust that Stafford's going to be able to turn it around. Next up, we'll go with wide receiver Davante Adams. He is on a crazy TD streak right now. And will need to be again this week. It's a division game in a situation where the Rams are trying to settle in on their playoff seeding, trying to obviously get a bye week, which would be rather fun, especially when you're dealing with the veterans that the Rams are and Matthew Stafford, stuff like that, to give that cannon a week off, what I think would be only beneficial. But Davante Adams in another situation, going against a good defense, I mean, statistically speaking, they're okay, but it's a division game, and that's such a wild card situation. And you look at the 2 games last year between the Rams and the Cardinals, you had a blowout by 31 points that we lost in Arizona, and then a 4-point win later in the year. So the disparity there, 27 points the Cardinals outscored the Rams last year. So obviously to kind of settle that in and just get a good enough cushion there where, you're not stressing out at the end of the game, like if they score, we lose kind of thing. Get that cushion where it's like, well, if they score, we're still going to win by 17, so who cares? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the situation I'm looking for. And if that happens, I imagine that Davante has at least one, And last year on the 3 to see, we're going to go with Blake Corum. He's had some very explosive runs. He is looking very, very good. He's getting plenty of carries. There seems to be a fairly even split between him and Kyron Williams right now. Seems to be a little bit of a 2-headed monster. And Blake seems to be the one that can hit the hole and go and break off a 15-yard, 20-yard run just at any given moment. Where Kyron is more of the, you need 5 yards, let's give it to Kyron. But if we're 1st and 10 at our own 30, might as well get Blake, man. He might get us to the other side of the field. So it's good stuff there. Blake Corum, though, he's playing some really good football. As far as the Rams offense, Cardinals defense, the keys here I've got are time of possession. That's a big one right now. The Rams have been fairly smoked in time of possession the last 3 or so games. And they've struggled in that department, but it's been fine. This time it haunted us. Third quarter especially, not being able to get off the field, not be able to keep the offense, working its way down. That definitely impacted the way that game happened yesterday or this last week. So obviously just win time of possession if you can, so we don't get into those situations where offense touches the field and it feels like we're behind now. Had 3 plays and then they had a long drive and it was just like, hey, we just need to get rolling here. So hopefully we can avoid that. Again, limit mistakes. Had an early pick 6 will certainly cause you concern for the rest of the game. Everybody's going to be a little bit more. It's going to be on everybody's mind the rest of the game. Your play caller, it's on their mind. It's on your receivers' minds. It's on everybody's mind the rest of the game that, like, hey, we cannot let that happen again. And so just limit your mistakes. We can't have any of those throws from Stafford where it's like, dude, what are you doing? And then, of course, the running backs, everybody's been doing a really good job holding on to the football. So just want to see that continue. And then just make sure that Sweat doesn't wreck your game plan. Go put up some points. Don't let Sweat kill your game. Go put up some points. It feels like it can be that easy. Although I understand it's not. So over to the other side here. This is the Rams defense going against that Cards offense. So the Cardinals on offense do have a top 10 unit here, putting up about 363 a game. Rams defense, 14th in the league, giving up about 334 a game. Passing the football, top 8 squad for the Cardinals, putting up about 237-ish. The Rams giving up about 207 a game. That's 14th in the league. Rushing the ball, a little over 100 for the Cardinals offense. That's 24th in the league. And the Rams give up about 108 a game, 14th again. Average points being put up, a little over 22 for the Cardinals offense. That's 20th. And the Rams give up 17.5. That is back to second place. And third down conversion rate, 42.9. Solid percentage from that Cardinals offense. That's 7th in the league. Rams give up 36.4. That is 8th in the NFL, though. So obviously the numbers that you're looking at there, the ones that jump out to you the most, are going to be where the Rams statistically kind of sit fairly middle of the road in yards given up. But then you look at the points and the third down, you're looking at top 10 unit. Obviously the points, 31 given up total. Of course, that some of those were defensive, but pushing the Rams average to 17.5 there. We were number 1 last week, and it's not far from getting back to number 1. Another big performance, another 7-point game should get you there. I'll be completely honest. So we'll see what happens there. But then the Cardinals, they can move the ball. They're moving it on offense. They're moving it through the air mainly. They don't even really try to run it. If you look at their numbers, they're like, as far as rush attempts, they're near the bottom of the league. They don't even really try to run it. And as far as efficiency when running the football, about where the Rams sit on offense, as far as like Kyron and Blake. Our efficiency in the run game is about in line with the Cardinals' efficiency. They just do it a lot less than we do. All right. The Cardinals, they have the most pass attempts in the NFL. They're 8th in yards, and they have the 5th fewest rush attempts in the NFL. And the Cardinals' offense has given up the 4th most sacks in the league with 42 on the year. For reference, the Rams have given up 17. So you can certainly get to the backfield, get to the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, no matter who it happens to be. It does suck that Kyler's not the one, because I feel like Kyler, you break through the line, you get a free runner, and he's just falling down anyway. Jacoby Brissett at least tries to make some more happen, so you still get there, though. Rams defense, 6th in yards per play on defense, which is absolutely awesome. That's way up there. Obviously, we know 14th total, but 6th in yards per play. That's where you want to be for sure. The Rams defense is tied for 3rd in turnovers and tied for 3rd with most interceptions as well. And the Rams have given up the fewest rushing touchdowns in the league. Only 4 rushing touchdowns given up by the Rams defense all year long. The next below them would be second place New England Patriots with 5, which is starting to feel like the Super Bowl matchup, to be honest here, man. We'll see, but starting to feel like that may happen. The Rams defense has floated a little bit more blitz over the last few weeks as well. Not as much last week, but the game before that, I'm already forgetting who he played. Oh, my brain. I'm too forward thinking, But the game before that definitely saw some more blitzing. Why can't I think of who we played? That's annoying. All right. Either way, but definitely have increased the blitzing a little bit, because also I would say the Rams are not getting as many pressures anymore. They started the year 4-man rush, and you're getting there, but that's kind of dwindled down over the course of the year. So I think that's why the blitz percentage is coming up, trying to get in the face of them quarterbacks here. Opposing players we're keeping our eyes on. Tight end Trey McBride, clear-cut top target for the Cardinals offense despite Marvin Harrison Jr. being on the roster. I'm not sure if they have game plan issues trying to get Marvin Harrison the football. He's a good player, but Trey McBride just seems to be more involved in the offense. Next up here, we'll go with quarterback Jacoby Brissett. Does have better numbers on average than Kyler Murray. So if you just take averages per game, Jacoby Brissett is the better quarterback, statistically speaking. So that's another reason why I'm not sure if the Cardinals are going to try to just move off of Kyler Murray. And honestly, from the Cardinals' perspective, if I was them, I would say it's probably about time, like get rid of that big old cap hit for a team that's not making the playoffs. Why would you pay a quarterback for a team that's not making the playoffs? Like, you got to build that thing out, man. Like, you got other things to pay. Like, that's how I'm kind of viewing it. If I was a Cardinals fan, which I certainly am not. As a Rams fan, I just hope the Cardinals keep doing what they've been doing for years, because this is awesome. Just take out one of our division opponents every year? Yeah. Give me that all day. And next up here, we'll go with running back Zonovan Knight. He does lead the Cardinals in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Solid player. Again, they don't really run the football that much. They don't even really try to run the football that much. But when they do, Zonovan Knight, he's an active player. Like, he's productive, man. So definitely eyes on him and you don't want to be the team that they have fifth fewest rush attempts, and then all of a sudden they pull out 35 rush attempts on us this week for like 250 yards. You don't want to be that team, that's for sure. Best one-on-one I've got for this matchup, I've got Cam Kinchins versus Trey McBride. With Q Lake being out, obviously these matchups, they're a little bit different now. Q Lake being able to be that guy who can play nickel, he can play that box linebacker, the box safety, he can play deep, like he could just do so many different things. Obviously missing that against a guy like Trey McBride, this is where you'd want him. But so Cam Kinchins, he's playing really, really good. He's tackling well. Both of our safeties are tackling really well right now, but that's a tough task, man. Trey McBride, he's playing really good football this year and is the target for that offense for sure. So 3 to see on the Rams defensive side. I'm going to start with Jared Verse here. I feel comfortable saying that heading into Week 14, the Jared Verse is taking a step back from last year. I've been waiting for like a good enough sample size where I can say like, okay, yeah, he is. Like he was more insane last year. And he is still doing a good job, but I do think that there is a little bit of a step back this year, and I'm not sure if that's coming from the opponents and focusing on Jared Verse, or if maybe there was a little bit of confidence that was built, and now it's the production level is different. I'm not really sure, but I can comfortably say that Jared Verse's production and productivity is down this year from last year, especially about the same time. This time last year, Jared Verse, we were talking about him of like, he's not just Rookie of the Year, he should be talked about for Defensive Player of the Year. Be that as it may. I know there were some very good players last year, but either way, Jared Verse, I do feel like would benefit from settling in just a little bit. And I don't even know what that really means, whatever that means to him specifically. But it does feel like the production is down. It feels like a guy who can have an explosive day at any given moment. Anytime he can absolutely light it up. In any given play, he can destroy your soul. But it's not happening as much as it was last year. That's kind of my point. Does seem to be taken out of plays when the offense wants him to be taken out of plays. That seems like that's something that you're able to do. It's not something that you were able to do against Aaron Donald. I know that the Niners did a good job of kind of limiting his production and stuff like that, but it seems like a lot of teams are able to take out Verse when they want to. He does lose contain a lot. He's not bending around the edge. So I don't know. Definitely an area to focus on. And I'm not trying to bash Jared Verse. He's still one of my favorite Rams on this roster. He's an athletic freak. He is a maniac. And I don't know. There's something there, and I'm not sure what's going on yet. But right now, I do feel like Byron Young's the better player. Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Forbes gave up a few big plays last week. We can certainly say that last week was his biggest struggle game as a Ram, I would say. I feel comfortable with that. But how Forbes rebounds from that in a game against a division opponent, against Marvin Harrison Jr., who has historically, I mean, short history because he's still young, but historically speaking, has done really well against the Rams. So this is actually quite the task for Emmanuel Forbes Jr., and I think that this is going to be one of those games where it's like similar to Stafford, where he's been playing so well all year, had a bad day, and now everyone's out on him. I just don't think that that's the case. I feel like he's going to come into this game and look like a different player than he did last week. I don't know what that was last week. I feel like those weren't the Rams. That was like somebody put on our uniforms and went out there. You know what I mean? Kind of like what it felt like. It was like, we're better than this. What's going on here? But that kind of happens. But either way, Forbes going against Marvin Harrison Jr. this week, I think that's a pretty tough task. Like I said, Harrison has done a good job against the Rams, historically speaking. And then next up here, I'm going to go with Braden Fisk. Fisky business, man. Fisk was able to get a sack last week. He got really close on at least one more. One where Bryce Young was able to just kind of sneak out of there. But he also did lead the game in quarterback hits. And Fisk has just been really settling into his rhythm, man. It feels like as the year has gone on, Fisk is just playing a little bit more productive every single week. Just half a step better every single week. And by the end of the year, I mean, that's all you can really ask for from any players. Just get this much better every single week. And then by the time you're in the playoffs, everybody should be looking sick, right? It's kind of where your brain goes. But either way, Fisk is looking really, really good right now. He's getting some really strong pass rush. So, Fisky business. Good stuff. And key for the Rams defense here. I'm just going to say get off the field. Get off the field. All right. So the Rams have been awesome on third down. Did well last week even. 7 of 15 for the Panthers on third down. I know everybody kind of feels like we did such a terrible job in so many different phases. And it was our worst game, but I think that the overreaction is kind of what I'm alluding to here. Did fine on third down, could do better. I need to just be able to get off the field. That third quarter saw the Panthers really control the game, and that's really where the pressure felt like it was on the Rams. After that third quarter, going into the fourth was like, okay, we did not expect this game to be close. Not only is it close, but they're playing really, really good right now. And also, like, bombing us on fourth downs and stuff. Like, their game plan for that was just too perfect. For whatever the Rams were expecting, they shifted everything around. And, I mean, honestly, last week, and I don't want to make this about last week entirely, but honestly, last week, too, I mean, shout out Ejiro Evero, man. His game plan going into that game was absolutely pinnacle. I think that if we had to play him again, I feel like the Rams would smoke him. I'll be completely honest. I feel like the Rams would go into that with a totally different mindset and an understanding of, okay, who is this team? Because Carolina Panthers are not a team we play regularly. That is not a team that we see often. That defense, I know Evero, he's there, but he's been around the league. It's not our guy anymore. You know what I mean? It's not like he was just here last year and he's like, we know all of his inner workings and stuff like that. He's gained some other knowledge over the years and stuff. And he also knows us. He was able to look at the Rams scheme and just say like, okay, this is what they're going to want to do. This is what we need to do to counter it. And they did a good job. So either way, I think that kind of ties into this game as well of the Carolina Panthers and Arizona Cardinals are both not incredible teams. I think the Panthers are better. But either way, I think that the Rams just need to do a better job at controlling this game. It's really felt like that's where last week got away from the Rams, was just out of control of the game. It seemed like we were very reactionary instead of making them respond to what we were doing. We were, the whole day, the Rams were responding to them. So don't let the Arizona Cardinals and Gannon do that to you. Just be able to get this one in. And then also, I just think that the settling in this game specifically, coming out of this one with a big win, with a big division win, and if that can be by a margin, cool. If not, cool. Dubs are dubs. You win by 1 point or 100. They only give you one win onto your record, so it doesn't matter to me. But I think coming out of this one with a win would settle everybody down a little bit. And I'm talking in the building. Fans can lose their minds all you want to. That's cool. I'm not going to ever tell you how to be a fan. That's insane business. All right. What I will say is probably just relax, though. It's going to be okay. Not going to tell you have to. I'm saying feels like an overreaction. We're probably going to be all right. This Sunday, 1:25 p.m. kickoff time on Fox Alberts, or Kenny Albert. Then, oh man, why did I forget the name already? Who's with Kenny Albert? Jonathan Vilma. Gosh, I was trying to say Mark Sanchez. Like, he is not there anymore. And he wasn't Kenny Albert's partner. So either way, Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Megan O'Leary on Fox 125, kicking off from State Farm Stadium. First time in that building since beating the Vikings in the playoffs last year. Crazy stuff, man. And be sure to catch us First and Tuna podcast YouTube channel and Ram Showcase Facebook page for Tuna and the Sheriff Thursday and Friday morning this week, as we'll be getting into this game preview and then into the playoffs, which is rather exciting. We have Fan Quesos. That is on the other side of this break. It is Ram Showcase. Welcome back in. This is Ram Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Bags. Let's get into our Fan Quesos here. Let me check here. Ooh, we do have some here. Nice. All right. Starting on the Facebook page, Ram Showcase Facebook page. I asked that question there. At question for questions, so you could drop them there. Let's go ahead and dive in, though. First one here come from Brett. I'm going to go with a more personal question here. Whoa. What's your favorite Rams season of all time? Ooh, doesn't have to be their best, just one that will always stick out to you. That was a really good question, Brett. 2005 was a really fun one. I really liked that year. That was the year, or was that 04? Was it the year that the Rams beat the Seahawks 3 times? That playoff win, I think it was 04. And then lost to Atlanta in the playoffs. Got smoked by Michael Vick, dude. Dang, man. I remember Kevin Curtis got a touchdown. We tied at 7-7. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And then just got smoked from there. It was like 47-17 or something. That was a really fun season. I hold the 2010 season kind of close to my heart. That's just, again, personal question. It's personal reasons for me, and that's really like a turning point in my fandom where I really started paying attention. Like, I was always a Rams fan. Always would, catch whatever game was on local, and I would just watch the score ticker and just like keep up that way, and then like hope that they showed me some Steven Jackson highlights or something at some point. But yeah, 2010 was a really fun one for me because that was when I really started like, I want to do this. Like that's where that mindset came from of like, oh no, I want to cover this. I want to talk about this. I want to be involved in this. I was looking at moving to Missouri, dude, like straight up. So that one was a good one. I would say 2017, McVay's first year, that was one where it was just such a breath of fresh air, like coming off of the 4-win season from Jeff Fisher the year before, firing him. Bad first year in LA. Jared Goff looks like he's an absolute bummer, 0-7 in his starts in his rookie year. So for McVay to come over and right away, just you could feel the entire vibe change right away. And I wasn't confident in McVay coming in. Like, it was like, yeah, he's younger than I am now when he got the job, which is crazy. But it was like, we'll see. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be exciting. He's young, he's energetic. I'm sure he's got a fun offense and stuff like that. It was like, but we'll see. And that year, the first game, man, that Colts game, LaMarcus Joyner gets a pick 6. Tremaine Johnson got a pick 6. Like, Jared Goff just looked way better. Todd Gurley was doing Todd Gurley things at that time. Like, that was a really, really fun one. 2018, going back to the Super Bowl, that one was rather exciting too. That Super Bowl's the only Rams game I've only watched one time of since I've started this podcast, which is so funny. Live is enough, man. Live was plenty. And then 21, obviously, everybody loves that season. I would say further back, I would go like 99 season, but I was born in 91, dude. I was still so young. Like, I can appreciate what's happening now, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so I'd go that. I think that was 04. That 04 season, 2010, 2017, 2018. Those ones are really fun. I would like to hear yours, man. I want to know which season. I feel like you probably have an answer where I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good one or something like that. But that's a good question, man. That's cool. Next couple here come from Gary. The Rams seem to have a problem in the second half. Is Sean McVay and the staff making the proper adjustments? That's a really good observation here, actually. And what I would say is I don't think it's McVay and our staff not properly adjusting. I think it's the other staff doing a better job of adjusting. I think they are. I think the Rams are a little bit easier to nail down this year. And just that's just my own personal opinion. Just I mean, I watch every game when it's live, and then I always go back and rewatch them over the course of the week and just kind of figure out what I want to, you find different things when you see the game a second time through. But yeah, I would just say that the Rams are a little bit easier to figure out this year, and I think the teams are adjusting properly. So I don't think it's us. I think it's them, which does in turn make it us. Paradox. Now it's never going to end because the way we adjust, then they adjust, then that means we need to adjust, which means they need to adjust, which means we need to adjust again, which means they need to adjust, which is what happens all game. But I think that so far, the Rams have also come out in the second half after having some big leads at halftime, and so the game plan is very, very much changed of like, let's just get out of here. Let's kill this clock. Let's get out of here kind of thing. And I think that they've done a good job of that. If you had to give Matthew Stafford a Christmas present, what would it be? Oh, that's a cool question. Oh, man. My brain's like, what would it be like living with a wife and 4 daughters? I was like, I can't even ballpark that. I just have a cat, dude. I don't know. I did grow up just to my 2 sisters and my mom. I lived with just them for a really long time, but I was trying to think of something that would relate to that, but I don't have that. If I had to give Stafford something, I'd give him Cooper Kupp. That's what I'd give him Cooper Kupp back. It's kind of crazy to think about, like, what might Cooper Kupp be looking like this year if he was with the Rams still. Makes you think, huh? Next few here coming from Edwin. Emphasis on the win. That Panthers game didn't go as planned, but had a weird feeling all week about that game. Guess we'll have to take it out on the Cardinals this week. Dude, that's so fun. As soon as that game ended, like, we were like getting right there at the end where it was like, oh, we just lost. Like, they picked up that first down and it was like, oh, it's over. That was like, oh, those poor Cardinals. Poor Cardinals, dude. They're going to get absolutely smoked. I was like, that really was my first thought. And I mean, you were there on my pregame live, man. I was like, I had the same vibe. I showing up, it was like, I don't know, man. Just like, I know we should beat them. We're better than them in every. That's literally what I said is like, there's zero reason for us to lose this game, which is exactly why I'm worried about it. And it just seemed to be one of those games. That's not how I feel about the Arizona Cardinals this week, even though the first part of that sentence is still true. I feel great about this game. There's no reason we should lose it. But last week, it was like one of those where it's like, yeah, but I don't know, man. And yeah, on my live stream, my pregame live, I was kind of talking about that. Like, this could be a lot closer than people anticipate. It's like, it's a 10-point spread. I don't feel like that's real. It's like, I would take the Panthers with the points, stuff like that. Yeah, but I mean, you were on that, man, and yeah, it's I felt it did feel a little off the whole time, which is, yeah, it's gonna happen, man. But hey, at least it was a regular season game. It wasn't a playoff game. We get a game this weekend. And that's really all you can ask for. Just keep giving me games the following weekend until we get to wild card week. I don't want a game that week. I'll play the following week after that, okay? I want to relax wild card weekend. But, yeah, we got to keep on playing, so that's good news. Let's get into your questions here. Number 1, I haven't heard anyone talk about Puka's one-handed catch near the sideline. What was your reaction watching that play? I don't know if there's any metalheads that watch this. I would think so, but I don't know. I'm a big metal guy myself, and I would say my face was exactly my face when, like, I heard the breakdown from Parkway Drive's new song "Sacred" the first time, where it was just like, oh, nasty, dude. I was like, it was one of those where it was like, it gave me stank face. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't want none of this? Like, yeah, I felt like I could go play football after that. That was crazy, man. It was one of those where it's like, yeah, Puka doing Puka things though. Puka going Puka, man. Who's going to stop him? Nobody. That's what I'm saying, man. But that was certainly my reaction. Number 2, are you concerned with our defense moving forward? Not really, I would say. I think it was a bad week, but no, I wouldn't say I'm concerned about our defense. And I think that that any concerns amongst the fan base about our defense, I think will be at least mildly in some capacity, in some level, alleviated this weekend. So yeah. Says and why not? I think it's just a bad day. You're allowed to have bad days. You know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of people that are like that look at that game and see it as a defining moment for the Rams season. I guess I just disagree. So yeah, I don't feel like that game defines our defense. I don't feel like it defines Stafford. I don't feel like it defines our season at all. I feel like, in fairness, like what I'll say is, I think that this game is going to be one of those weird ones that we look back on and it's like, I can't believe we lost that. Like, I feel like at the end of the season, no matter how it ends for the Rams, I feel like we're going to look back at that Carolina Panthers game and be like, that was a weird one, huh? What happened that day? Like, I truly do feel that way. And I understand that not everybody is with me on that, and that's totally fine. But, and sure, save your receipts all you need to. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to, like, screenshot somebody's tweet so I could be like, you said this, sucker. Like, you know. But, yeah, I just think it's just one of those weird blips, man. I'm truly not worried. Number 3, when Stafford wins his second Super Bowl with the Rams and he retires, do you think that people will remember him more as a Ram or as a Lion? I'll be honest, I think people already would remember him as a Ram more than a Lion. I understand that he played more years in Detroit than he has with the Rams, but I do feel like already he is more relatable as a Ram than Matthew Stafford as a Lion. And I think a big part of that is simply going to Los Angeles from Detroit and then winning a Super Bowl. He's in, MVP conversations right now. So I do think that, like, Matthew Stafford next to, like, having like a hyphen and then Rams next to it just feels right. And I would say, even if he were to retire right now, I do think that he would be remembered more as a Ram than a Lion. And maybe that's recency bias. Maybe that's more people being like, well, where did he play last, kind of thing. It's like, a lot of people don't think about Jerome Bettis with the Rams and stuff like that, even though he was, a Ram for seasons, and then goes to Pittsburgh. So I don't know how long he was, though, actually. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 4. Was it? Was it that long? I don't know. But either way, that's like, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it is, yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, it's like Andrew Whitworth. I mean, he played a lot of years in Cincinnati, but I feel like a lot of people think of him as a Ram. Trying to think of some others that might be in that same ballpark. I don't think Devontae is really going to get there, especially if it's only 1 year. I'm not sure if it will be. I do think he comes back for next year, but that one, I feel like he's a Packer, like it just makes sense. But, yeah, I think that Stafford, I would lock that in. I would say he's already more of a Ram. Number 4, did Carl rub it in when you came home after his Panthers beat our team? He did, dude. He did. It says, go Joe, go Rams, go Edwin. Yeah, he's a bit of a jerk. He's a sore winner, What can you do? Next one here, coming from Gary. Okay, Sheriff, let's assume Quentin Lake and Akello Witherspoon are healthy, okay? Okay. Give me the 5 guys you think are the best fits in the secondary. I say 5 because I think a 3-3-5 is our best play scheme, our best play scheme-wise right now. Oh, I gotcha. Spates can come in on specific run plays, but the front 6 should be Fisk, Ford, Turner, Young, Verse, and Landman. I agree and disagree because I would put, instead of a 3-3-5, I would go more of a 4-2-5, in my opinion. And I would go Fisk, Turner, Verse, Young up front. Then I would go Landman. Yeah, Landman and Spates. Just give me both of them. And then for the secondary, then you got the 5, obviously. So I would say that's a little bit more accurate, personally. But, yeah. Because you also have Ford in yours. But, okay, but this is about the secondary, though. Who are the 5 best fits in the secondary? So obviously Lake is in there. Cam Curl is all over the place. This dude's an absolute tackling machine. Emmanuel Forbes, outside of last week, has been playing like one of the better corners in the league. I would say Kobe Durant fits what we do really, really well. And I would say Akello. I mean, I think it's closer with Akello and DK in my own brain than for other people. I understand that. And I don't think that DK is really going to get like a bunch of reps or anything like that. I don't think he's like fixing to come in a bunch. But I don't think it's impossible we do see him on the field, but yeah, I would say that those are your 5. I would go with Lake, Curl, and then just our top 3 guys, Akello, Forbes, and Durant. I just think that makes the most sense. Those are all very good players. They all understand what the goal is of the defense, I would say. So yeah. But the only thing I would push back on is the 3-3-5. I think it's more accurate to go with a 4-2-5. I like when those are the comments that like somebody will hear when I'm at work or something like that, and I'll like say that, and like somebody will walk by and be like, "What?" Like, "Oh, you know." Let's see here. I'm just gonna go down this list here. We're over to the YouTube channel now. So this one is coming from Ram's house. Happy birthday, dude. Whose house? Says not a question. All right, fair enough. It says just want to thank you for the years of dedication. Oh, dude, thank you. Let's read this one all the way through here. Let's just want to thank you for the years of dedication that you have put into this show. I still remember finding you in the 2020 offseason, the offseason before playing in SoFi Stadium. Heck yeah, man. At that time, it was only you and Rams Talk. Oh, how's he doing? Who had Rams show / podcast. The Rams podcast space has certainly exploded since that time, but you're still one of my all-time favorites to listen to. Production, personality, and enjoyment packed into your shows has kept the content top tier for many years. So blessed to be able to listen to your shows weekly and talk to you virtually every day now. Have a great one. Thanks, dude. I can't tell you how much that means to me. I truly do appreciate that, man. This show is so much fun, man. I mean, I was sitting here talking Rams football. Like, it could be so much worse. You know what I mean? Like, so the only thing that sucks about doing a sports podcast is the shelf life. Like a podcast, like a normal podcast, like a Joe Rogan episode or something like that, is good for basically eternity. But these are good for like 4 days, and then they're irrelevant, which is really cool. But the community I've been able to find, the people I've been able to meet, the unloading my brain into a space that makes sense has been, I mean, more than I could have ever asked for. I didn't think I'd be going this long. I'll be honest. I never saw that I would be, 10 years in and still just talking Rams ball. And then I have like weird episodes like today where I feel like my brain's just been all clunky all day. Like the whole time I'm doing like the game previews like that, I feel like my brain's all scattered and I'm like not making as much sense as I normally would. Or maybe I do. I have no idea. Maybe I never make sense. Who's to say? But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is thank you. I truly do appreciate that, man. This has been an absolute blast. I would not have it any other way, for sure. Next one here from Rams House. Will Atwell have a big impact on the game before his contract expires this offseason? I don't know. I will say this. I kind of had higher hopes for Tutu Atwell coming in this year. $10 million guaranteed on a 1-year deal. I was a little bit, I guess, hopeful that he would be very involved in a lot of game planning and stuff. That hasn't been the case. I don't understand why the Rams brought him back, especially based on just his usage. That, catch against the Colts, 88 yards, still the longest play of the NFL season from scrimmage. That's absolutely incredible. Don't want to take that away, but it seems like overall he's just not as involved as I would say that his contract says. But also, I'm not here to count anybody's money. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever you make out of it, it's none of my business. But I would say I am surprised that that they made such an effort to keep him around and then just don't really use him. So I don't know, but I would say I would anticipate that these are the last few Tutu Atwell games that we get. As far as him being on the Rams, I do anticipate that he would leave this offseason. And if he comes back again, that's like, yo, what are we doing with this guy? Like, what is the plan? You know what I mean? So you gotta figure that out. So, to answer your question, I would hope so. That would be kind of cool, right? If he has like a game where he gets like 175 receiving yards and just goes off on somebody, that'd be cool. I think a lot of people would appreciate that as well. Tutu Atwell, the Tutu train. Back in action, allegedly. Allegedly, because he was supposed to play last week and then didn't. But, yeah. I want to say yes is really where my brain's going. I want to say yes. I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Next one here from Payo Time. What's up, Payo? Kyron has had a history of good games versus the Cardinals. Do you think he has 2 touchdowns over 100 rushing yards this Sunday. Love the show. Thank you. That feels real. That feels real. I feel like we could do that in an Arizona Week 14 game. We could see 2 tuds in the century mark for one Kyron Williams, one K-Dub. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, he has done well against the Cardinals. The only thing that I'm kind of thinking there is that Blake Corum's been super explosive and been getting plenty of carries. So while I definitely think it's possible for Kyron to have a day like that, I almost just don't think it'll happen simply because the splits that are happening right now between Kyron and Blake. So certainly possible though. You're right. He has done well against them. Next one here from Paul. I really think the Rams miss Higbee more than anyone realizes. He's not just a tight end, but a veteran leader and a very good blocker. What do you think? I absolutely agree with you, dude. I couldn't agree more, actually. I think that last year we look at the Higbee situation where he got Kirby'd the year before, but he missed the very large majority of the season. But the second he came back, you could feel his presence. Then this year we have him. The second he goes out, you can feel his absence. I understand that Colby Parkinson and Terrence Ferguson and Davis Allen are all very good players. They're not Tyler Higbee. And it's for your reasoning there. Veteran leader, very good blocker. He just understands our offense better than those other guys. Skill-wise, I mean, he is getting older, and I do think that, athleticism-wise, Terrence Ferguson is more athletic. I think that as far as, just a big body, Colby Parkinson, big guy. And then Davis Allen, he's got great hands, probably the best hands of all of our tight ends. So I think that's really what you're missing is the brain of it, is the mindset of just fully understanding the inner workings of the offense. I mean, Tyler Higbee came in as a rookie. Trying to remember what round he was picked in. But that was 2016. He came in with Jared Goff as a rookie. And I think that he just doesn't get enough credit for what he brings to this Rams offense. I really don't. I also feel like this is his last year as a Ram, and I'm not happy about it. We'll see, but yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to save this one for the end, Rams house. Let's go here to Muad'Dib. What's up, dude? Says, why are we not getting baller pass rush? Why are we going into the season? We don't need a top-tier secondary because our boys in the trenches would be able to get to the quarterback before they can get the ball off. We are top 10 in sacks and tied for second in turnovers, but I thought we would be first in both by now. So, okay, screed over? What? What's a screed? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you there that the Rams pass rush I thought would be a little bit more potent, but I think that they're, yeah, that's a tough one because the blitzing is just not really happening. We don't really bring a lot of blitzes, but the way that the Rams front operates, it's a lot of rotation. And people do get home. I mean, Byron Young's doing great. I mean, like you said, we're top 10 sacks. We were way up there early in the season, and then it kind of fell off. 2 games back to back, San Fran and Seattle, where we didn't have any. That'll kind of hurt you, but yeah, I definitely thought that the Rams pass rush would be a little bit more critical, a little bit more intense, a little bit more damaging to opposing offenses than it currently has been. But also, we are just now about to get into December football, so this could be where we see a little bit of a flip switched. So, flipped? That's what that way. That's where we could kind of see this turn a corner and start to get some more pass rush. And I'm also really curious to see, in this game specifically against Jacoby Brissett, I'm really curious to see what the Rams' blitzing situation is in this one. Have some games where I feel like blitzing will do good for you. Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals, I think that's a good situation to blitz. Jared Goff and the Lions, I think is a good situation to blitz. So we'll see. Next one here from Payo Time. Who on the Rams do you think would make the best WWE wrestler? My vote would have been AD if he didn't retire, but now I would think I would say Kevin Dotson. I would say Byron Young, I think. My brain wants to say Jared Verse, but I think Byron Young with his Pilates and stuff he would be able to do cooler things. I think his creativity would be a little higher, but Jared Verse would be rather exciting. And I just want both of them. Both of them to be a duo. That's what I want. Yeah. I think that's how wrestling works. Never been a big wrestling guy. Let's see here. From Rams House, why do you think Yarbs has not been promoted the last chunk of years? I feel like he is such an amazing culture guy and an elite coach on top of that. Surprised that he hasn't gotten any promotion. I think he'd make a great head coach, but that feels like something he may not be pursuing. I obviously want Yarbs here for the rest of time, but I'm curious your thoughts on it all. I actually, in my opinion on Yarbs, is I think that he likes to be a wide receiver coach. I think that that's where he wants to be. If I had to guess, obviously I don't have that information firsthand from Yarbs or anything like that, but I would say Eric Yarber wants to be a wide receiver coach. I feel like that's where he fits in. He speaks to those guys well. They respond to him well, and I think that that's where he fits in. Could he be a good OC? Maybe. But I'm just not sure if he's really going for it, you know? Next one here from Rams House. Favorite Corey Littleton moment. He had a blocked punt. I want to say that was against the Raiders, which would have been, 2014? He had a blocked punt against them that was, super sick. Oh, and then flip side of that, also against the Raiders, when he played for the Raiders, he tackled a guy, a Raider, on a kick return. And that was pretty cool. It was like, oh, you forgot you don't play for us no more. That's cool. That would have been, was that 2018? Maybe that was 2014, actually. I'm not sure. We're going to end it here with this one here from Rams House. If Nate Landman was a candy, what candy would he be? Solid question here. Let's see. Nate Landman, he's not flashy by any means. He is also not... This is harder than I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest. I've said Butterfinger for somebody before. I'm going to go with an Almond Joy because that feels like a grown-up kind of treat as far as candies go. That makes perfect sense. Don't even argue with me on that. But I would say that because he's just very mature. Very good, though. Very good. Very solid. Got some protein in there, you know what I mean? And just, just not flashy, not going to go over the top. You're not going to scream for him if like you think of like linebackers in the NFL. You're not like Landman, But if you get Landman, you're like, okay, I'll take a Landman. Yeah, hell yeah, Nailed it. Thank you for your fan quesos. Make sure you drop those every week, heading up to this show. I record it on Wednesdays, so make sure you follow Ram Showcase on Facebook. You can check it out there. If you're not subbed on YouTube already, we also post it for questions right there. But make sure you follow us also on socials at Sheriff Joe Bags, at Ram Showcase, ramshowcase.com. So you follow along on the internet. Obviously, the Tuna and the Sheriff Show that is streamed live on the First and Tuna Podcast YouTube channel and the Ram Showcase Facebook page Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. LA time. Check us out, dude. We'll be talking about the game. And, of course, we'll be doing our pregame live stream again ahead of this game, like we do every game. So check me out there. That's Ram Showcase Facebook and YouTube channel that we stream. So, yes, big old football game going on this weekend as the Rams taking on the Cardinals, trying to bounce back after a lame old loss against the Carolina Panthers. Could be a fun one this weekend. Another divisional game. First time against the Cardinals this season. We'll get them again at the last game of the season. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.